Okay, so I wanted to do this video to take a look at a Bevill State degree plan for business administration. The degree is in, the code is BUA, Business Administration. It's an Associate in Science degree. Notice that it requires 60 credit hours. That's a minimum. You could go over that. Don't want to go too far over because most universities you'll only be able to transfer 64 hours at the most, but 41 hours of those are core courses, which means they're fairly common to any academic degree plan. So what we're looking at here is a degree plan for a non-existent student, Jane's test plan. This shows a current program of general studies, but in this module I can change the degree plan to see what courses would be required. So that's what I've done. I've changed this to business. So we scroll down here, and the first thing required, and this is required for all academic degrees at Bevill State, is ORI 107, Student Survival Skills. We call it orientation. It's a 1 credit hour course. It's not going to transfer anywhere, but it is required to graduate from Bevill State. Area 1, as with all plans, all academic transfer plans, calls for written composition and for 6 hours being required. And you get those 6 hours by taking English 101 and 102. English Composition 1 and 2. Each of those are 3-hour courses. Now, this non-existent student, this shows that they've already taken it, earned the 3 hours with a grade of B in the summer of 2004. They have not yet taken English Comp 2, according to this. Area 2 is called Humanities and Fine Arts, and everyone is required to take a fine arts course. Fine arts courses include things like art appreciation, art history, theater appreciation, music appreciation. Right? Second thing is everyone needs a literature class. Now, what I'm going to show you a little bit later, well, I won't say that yet. There are 6 literature courses available at Bevill State: American Lit 1 and 2, English Lit 1 and 2, World Lit 1 and 2. Now, to take a literature course, you must pass English 102 with at least a C first. So you can pick any of these, although the university that you're transferring to might prefer one over another, and that's one of the things that you need to look into. The third thing on the list, and this Bevill State gives the option in the business degree plan of doing a second literature or another fine arts or a humanities course. Now, humanities are things, really we have basically 2 things at Bevill State that you can take as humanities courses, and that's religion and philosophy. And the philosophy courses are only offered online. However, even though Bevill State does leave open the option of doing a humanities or fine arts instead of a second literature, as we'll see a little bit later in this video, the STARS guide, which is the guide by the state that shows what you need at state universities for a business degree, calls for a literature sequence. So I always recommend that business students take a literature sequence. The fourth thing is Speech 106 or 107. Again, which one you take, kind of university you're transferring to, and whether or not they have a preference. 106 has traditionally been offered online, and 107 hasn't. Of course, with the coronavirus sending everything online for now, either one can be done in an online format. The Speech 107 is a little bit more formal speaking, and I believe you give more speeches in Speech 107 than in 106. Let's see. So from there we go to Area 3, which is the Math and Natural Sciences. You'll need a math course. It will need to be at least Math 110, which is finite math. Most people opt for Math 112, pre-calculus algebra here. And most students cannot go straight into Math 112 right out of high school. So if you're one of those, starting according to your placement scores, either at Math 098 or Math 100, you really need to go ahead and get started on those. I will get on my soapbox here, as I do with every degree plan that I talk about. Math is probably the number one thing stopping people from graduating. Most people don't like math, and most people don't consider themselves to be very good at math, but I'm sorry, it is required. And so if you're in Math 098, if you're a new incoming freshman and your placement scores, like your ACT, your high school grades, or the AccuPlacer test, if you're placed into Math 098, you need to go ahead and get started on that, because you have a good bit more ahead of you. And I see people who try Math 098 2 and 3 times and then move to Math 100 and have to take that 2 or 3 times to get a passing grade. So get started on math and focus on it. The next thing here in Area 3 is Natural Science. We can click that and you can see the list of options. Biology 103 and 104 are going to be the most popular option. Chemistry 104 and 105 would work just fine for a business major. There is no math prerequisite or requirement for the biology courses. You do need to at least be in Math 098 to take Chemistry 104. You could take Chemistry 111 and 112, but that would really be sort of overkill. We don't offer geology. Now for physics, you could take Physics 201 and 202, but you need to have at least had Math 113, which is trig, before you can get into those. Physical science courses, also a possible option. Jasper offers Physical Science 1 in the summer, and the Summerton campus has Physical Science 2 a couple of times a year, I believe. All right, now in Area 4, you've got something here for business majors that's a little bit different from most other degree plans, and that is that you must take macro and microeconomics, ECO 231 and 232. Some colleges will look at that as having a sequence in Area 4, which means you would not have to have a sequence in Area 2. I don't know if what I'm saying there makes sense, especially if this is your first time looking at these. This degree plan doesn't say it explicitly because it spells out exactly that you must have the ECO 231 and 232. Most degree plans tell you that you must have a sequence in Area 2 or Area 4, which means in Area 2 you could do Literature 1 and Literature 2. It could be like World Lit 1, World Lit 2, American Lit 1, American Lit 2. But they need to be the same kind. You can't do English Lit 1 and American Lit 2. That's not considered a sequence. So you need to do the economics. Then you need a social or behavioral science. And again, here Bevill State says you must take a history, and then you can take another history, or a social or a behavioral science. Now, I'm pretty sure the STARS guide is going to say do a history and do a social or behavioral science. All right, so history is pretty obvious. Western civilization, world history, U.S. history. But the social behavioral sciences are things like anthropology, political science, psychology, and sociology. So most folks opt for probably psychology as a good option there for their social science. Now in area 5, where you get into the concentration, it's a little more cut and dried here in the business plan than in others. You're going to need Accounting 1 and Accounting 2. You're going to need the Legal and Social Environment of Business. We call it Business Law for short. And you're going to need these math courses, Business Statistics 1 and 2. And I need to check. I'm not sure what the math prerequisite is for those. It may be Math 112, but I'm not positive. Then you need CIS 146. That's Computer Information Science. This is Microcomputer Applications. It's a basic course in Microsoft Office, and that's required for almost every Bevill Associate's degree. And lastly, you need either Math 120, which is Business Calculus. I believe it's called Calculus and its applications. Or you could do Math 125, which is Calculus 1. But to take Calculus 1, you have to have had Math 113, which is trigonometry. And below that, you need Math 112 and possibly 198. Just depends on where you place. It also makes it an option for an advisor-approved elective. Now, the reason for that is UAB, which is where a lot of our students transfer to, does not require a calculus course for business. So no point in you taking that if they're not going to require it, so we can substitute in some other elective. Maybe you do a second history for that or a second social science. So that, you need 60 hours out of all of those, and that will get you the Business Administration Associate's degree from Bevill State. Now, quickly, I want to jump over to the STARS guide, and I need to back up from here. Again, at stars.troy.edu, there's also a link to this on the Bevill State webpage. But you need, as a student, to get the official STARS guide. It's going to ask you which situation fits you. It'll be this one over here. Public 2-year community college, Bevill State, going to an Alabama public 4-year university. If you're not going to a public university, if you're going to a private university, you can use the 2 to 4 transfer program, but this is not as written in stone as this one is. All right, so you would click on this, and then you would put in your personal information. I'm going to back up, though. And for a shortcut, I'm going to look at an unofficial guide because it's quicker. I don't have to put in a name and address and everything. So I'll go up to the top of the list and I select Bevill State. I'm going to tell it that I'm an advisor. We're going to look at a business degree. So all business majors, okay, whether you're accounting, marketing, management, doesn't matter. It's the same at the 2-year college. So we click Get the Guide, and we find this. First of all, I always like to point out this right here. You'll notice something about this is in bold, large print, all caps. You must also print the Area 5 page for your major for the institution to which you plan to transfer. So more on that when we get to the end of this thing. So this is going to look a lot like the Bevill State degree plan. It's divided into 5 areas, where Area 1 is written composition, requiring 6 semester hours of credit, and you must take English 101 and 102. Okay? Same thing as the Bevill State degree plan. In Area 2, for Humanities and Fine Arts, students planning to complete a bachelor's in business must complete a 6 semester hour sequence in literature. Now, the Bevill State degree plan did not require that. It gave you the option of doing one literature and then either doing another humanities or a fine arts course. But the STARS guide is very clear here. You must complete a 6-hour sequence in literature. So after you do English 101 and 102, during your sophomore year, you're going to want to do either 251 and 252 American Lit, 261, 262 English Lit, or 271, 272 World Lit. Then select 6 hours from the following list of courses, and you must take at least 3 hours in the arts. So in other words, you need a fine arts course. Bevill State's degree plan lists that as well. You can do art appreciation. Most people either go with art appreciation or, where is it down here, music appreciation, music 101. Now this lists some things that we don't offer at Bevill State. We do not have Japanese. We don't have PTK honors courses. We don't have German or French. What we do have is these philosophy courses, Intro to Philosophy, Ethics and Society. Those are offered online. And we have the 3 religion classes, World Religion, Old Testament, New Testament. They will also accept speech. And Bevill State steps in and says, yes, that's what you're going to do. You're going to take speech. So based on the Bevill State degree plan and interweaving it with the STARS guide, you're going to need a literature sequence, a fine arts, and a speech course in Area 2. That'll be your 4 classes for 12 hours. Select 8 semester hours from the following list of science courses. Again, most people go to Biology 103, 104. Some do Chem 104, 105. Not quite as easy to schedule because they're not offered as much, but Physical Science 111 and 112 are options. By the way, Biology 104 is typically only offered in the spring, so you would want to get 103 in the fall. Chemistry 104, in Jasper at least, is only offered in the fall, and 105 is only offered in the spring. The Summerton campus offers the 104, I believe both fall and spring, and it's also offered online a good bit. But Chemistry 105 is only available in the spring in Jasper. Now you can mix and match. You can do Biology 103 and Chemistry 104, or Biology 103 and Physical Science. So those are some options. However, I will say this. You need to double check that your university doesn't specify any particular science. We'll look at that in a minute. Or that they don't say something like you need to take 2 different kinds of science, or you need to take a science sequence. So that will be up to the university. And then you need 3 hours from this list. Notice that Math 112, Pre-Cal Algebra, is the lowest one on the STARS guide list. Bevill State had Math 110 in the degree plan, but Math 112 is the one that's required for the STARS guide. And you can take one from Bevill and graduate from Bevill, but then when you get to your university, they're going to say you need Math 112. All right, in Area 4, like the Bevill State degree plan said, you need Economics 231 and 232, and then they want you to take either Anthropology, Psychology, or Sociology, one of the social sciences, like I told you, and then you need a history class. Just one out of these 6, doesn't matter which one. In Area 5, you need Legal and Social Environment and Business. The Bevill State degree plan had that. You need Statistics 1 and 2. You need CIS 146 or 147. Bevill State has 146 in the degree plan. You need the accounting sequence 241 and 242, and either Math 120 or Math 125. Okay, you see that that is on the STARS guide. Okay, so now let's go down here, and here are the public universities in Alabama where you can get a degree in business, and you need to get the Area 5 page. Remember up at the top it said you must complete the Area 5 page. So let's take a look at UAB as an example. It's going to jump over, and you're going to have to select. Now you notice business is not here, and that's because they split them out into like accounting versus marketing or management. Here's accounting, so let's take a quick look at that one. Here's the contact person at UAB, and they don't do any fine tuning to it. Okay? They don't add any specific specifications. So what you have to do is print this and attach it to your STARS business articulation guide. All right, so that one's not real helpful. Let's see if any of the others give us any more detail. Let's see what the marketing calls for. Nope, same thing. Let's see what the area 5. Okay, that just links us back over to the STARS guide for business, which has microcomputer applications, business statistics 1 and 2, accounting 1 and 2, legal and social environment business, calculus and its applications are calculus 2. So, UAB is not giving you the details there. So we would really need to look into a UAB catalog, and there we would find that they do not require that calculus course, or at least they haven't in the past. I hope that hasn't changed. So anyway, this video has run a little bit long. I hope that this answered more questions for you than it created, and gives you some idea of what courses you need to take and when. So feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Glenn.bobo, that's GLENN .BOBO at bscc.edu. Hope this helps.